Welcome to the third video in this series of COBIT 2019. This time, I'll be talking about the governance system, the components, and the objectives. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel or visit my blog. Let's start. As I mentioned at the beginning, this series of COBIT 2019 is covering the first of 4 documents this new version is presenting. We are focusing in the methodology, the framework, and a review into the objectives. Don't forget that there is a specific document for the governance system's objective. Therefore, the comments made here are just a broad introduction of them. I strongly recommend you to take a look on those documents. As I already mentioned in previous videos, the governance system has 7 main principles. The second one is about the holistic approach. But what does it mean? It means all the things that should be considered to accomplish the final goal. In our case, the enterprise goal. Here, I am talking about all the elements and its interaction between them that makes possible to reach the goal. We are using the 7 components to have a comprehensive implementation of a governance system. I will make a short review of the components. Previous versions of COBIT were called enablers. People, they have the skills and competences to carry out specific tasks. For example, among all employees in a company, there is a subset of people capable and skilled for any specific task. Do you remember the taxi example of previous videos? This would be the taxi driver. The culture, ethics, and behavior of the people, but also of the enterprise, which too many times is underestimated and overlooked. The processes, which are the practices and activities to achieve certain objectives. They eventually are the input for other processes. Technology. It comprehends the services, applications, and infrastructure that will be used to process the information, allowing process execution. For example, office people are expected that email works in daily basis. That's why we have to take care of the email servers, email clients, the network, encryption stuff, and some other things. At the end, people are just using information and technology to reach business goal. The organizational structures, because they are shaping and taking the decisions in every area regarding to the process that are carried out on daily basis, enabling the strategy. This is not only happening at C-levels. As previously mentioned, the information it's pervasive, meaning it's present in the whole organization, meaning in all departments. But be careful, not only the one is used, but also the one is being constantly created in all departments, like any kind of reporting to take strategic decisions. And finally, the procedures, policies, and frameworks that are ruling and shaping how the practices are carried out every day. We described in the previous slide the 7 components that are used to build a governance system. It's important to clarify that these components can be either generic or variant. The generic components are those that apply to any situation, but need to be customized before they are used. For example, the information needs to be in a specific format before processing by a certain application. Also, we have the variant components. This refers to the variation a component could have related to a focused area. For example, regarding cybersecurity, we must consider a specific set of information, for example, the device logs for intelligence operations. Here is needed to mention that focus areas are any topic or issue that is addressed for a specific collection of objectives. Examples of focus areas are small-medium enterprises, cloud, DevOps, cybersecurity, transformation, and so on. It's also necessary to mention the goal cascade. This is important because it will help us to translate the whole thing. This means the stakeholder needs and drivers interpretation into actionable steps or strategy, which applies to every level of the organization. It allows for alignment and prioritization of all IT efforts in line with the business objectives. At the very top, is the main need and drivers from the internal or external stakeholders, and they are translated into enterprise goals, which in turn go deep translated into alignment goals, and finally to the 40 objectives, the governance and management objectives, which use the 7 components. The enterprise and the alignment goals are based in the balanced scorecard dimensions, setting goals related with financial, customer, internal, and learning and growth issues. Now, I will be talking about the objectives. This is the core of the framework, and I will introduce you with some explanation, but I strongly recommend you to review the document for the fine details. Again, this video series should serve as a tool to understand the framework, but should not be used as only learning means. The objectives are in plain English, meaning the things that will allow us to reach the final goal. We have 5 objectives that pertain to the governance domain, and 35 pertaining to the management domain. Let's go a little bit in deep. As I mentioned several times, the governance is about the direction the organization must take. Here, the interests and drivers of all internal and external stakeholders must be kept in mind. The governance body takes the right decisions and set the direction and priority based on the drivers and needs of the stakeholders. Those guys are the ones in the board, and the leader is the chairman. They evaluate and monitor constantly the overall business performance. The 5 governance objectives are setting exactly this, the governance framework, realizing the benefits, optimizing and balancing between the use of resources, in this case, the information and technology, and the risk. And finally, to create engagement between all stakeholders involved to support the initiatives aligned with the goals. Then, we have the 35 objectives related to the management. These people are executing the task, projects, and initiatives according to the direction set by governance. The governance is saying this shall be done, and management should determine how it will be implemented. The main tasks management should perform are planning, building, running, and monitoring the projects and initiatives that are being implemented to reach an end and seek to get the final objective. Planning is about aligning and organizing the initiatives and projects in relation with the other areas and departments to have a common goal. Once the initiatives were successfully planned, the next step is building the resources needed, meaning build or acquire those things that will be needed during the implementation. Could be hardware, software, people, machines, outsourcing, etc. Running. Once everything needs is in place, it should be operating in order to reach the goal. This is the processing, delivering services, and providing support to maintain the business operations continually running. Monitoring, to ensure that everything runs smooth, in the most effective and efficient way, and in the right direction, of course, allowing for error detections and early correction if needed. In the next video, I will be talking briefly about the design and the implementation of the governance system. But it's most important to understand the objectives, the different tasks and objectives management and governance do, in order to customize the framework to our very own context. Then, also build our own goals according to the cascade. If you have comments or suggestions, please don't hesitate to write them down here. I'm looking forward for your feedback and see you in my next video. I hope this has been informative for you, and if you want to be notified for my next video, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that sharing is caring. If you find this video useful, please share it with the community.